Hello and welcome back to another video. If you're looking for recommendations on what manhwa to read, then here are some that I've read recently that might be of interest. Manhwa titles are timestamped in the video for your convenience. Our first manhwa for today is The Genius Grandson of Namgung Clan, a murder manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 61 on. Its main character is Ha-hyun. Originally part of the Sin clan, Ha-hyun and his mother were in the middle of trying to escape from pursuers but were about to be caught. To give her son a chance to live, Ha-hyun's mother chooses to delay the ones chasing them. As she lays down her life, Ha-hyun hides and successfully evades the enemy. Described as quite the observant, insightful, and bright child, Ha-hyun continues his journey to reach his maternal family, one of the most famous ones in any Muram world, the Namgung family. What will be in store for Ha-hyun as he gets involved with his new family? Will he be able to seek revenge? How powerful will he become? The story is 8 out of 10. Growth to pursue revenge is a common plot point for a manhwa such as this one. However, this one strikes a little bit more of a grounded feel to it, as Ha-hyun's maturity is a lot higher than most. What is also made apparent right away is that Ha-hyun is very gifted in the world of martial arts, and he has quite the potential to reach great heights. The characters are 9 out of 10. Contrary to my initial expectations, the Namgung family is actually one that's very warm. They treat Ha-hyun properly, and there's only unity, friendly rivalry, and warmth in this particular Muram family. At least so far, there's enough interest to Ha-hyun that he finds himself improving every day. The art is 8 out of 10. Proficiency in martial arts, the eyes to see and analyze techniques and physical movement, plus a loving family to boot. Everything is showcased in a style that's able to truly show Ha-hyun's talent and luck to be able to be where he is. I'm curious to see how they will depict the foreshadowed conflicts ahead. So if you're a fan of growth Muram stories similar to Warrior Grandpa and Supreme Granddaughter, or want another story of the Namgung family like Youngest Son of the Namgung Clan from my previous videos, then check out The Genius Grandson of the Namgung Clan. This next manhwa to take a look at is The Genius Prismatic Mage, a fantasy manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 37 on. The protagonist of this manhwa is Ray. Initially quite the emotionless individual, Ray was part of a group of kids that was living under a bridge in a fantasy world. However, Ray had one particular feature about himself. He could see magic and emotions as colors. As he observed those around him, he realized that he was a little bit special. Due to some unfortunate circumstances though, Ray ends up losing everybody that is near and dear to him, and so he has to migrate away from his Area 51 slum. With only one particular goal in mind, Ray now wants to become a mage and achieve revenge for those that perished. Will Ray be successful in becoming the mage that he so desperately wants to be? The story is 7 out of 10. A story about struggle, triumph, overcoming hardship, and everything in between. Ray will find himself at the crossroads of various individuals and groups that will look to cater and take advantage of him. Although, there will also be those that will be kind and offer him lively advice that will serve him well with his ambition. The characters are 8 out of 10. Initially devoid of any emotion, Ray slowly but surely learns to feel various emotions through the individuals that he encounters. From rage, anger, kindness, shyness, and everywhere in between, the spectrum of a colorful rainbow there is to be, Ray will have to grow as both an individual and a mage to achieve this lifelong dream. The art though is 9 out of 10. There are similarities in some aspects to other manhwa that I've covered on this channel. This particular manhwa though utilizes color as its showcase for magic. Magic and emotions are clearly very much tied and related to each other. It showcases that very effectively. So if you're a fan of fantasy manhwa, where magic is very much at the core of the world, and you're curious to see how colors could represent magic in contrast to the Infinite Mage from my previous videos, then give The Genius Prismatic Mage a shot. Ultimate Shut-In is the first of another 2 shorter manhwa recommendations I have for you this week. It's a modern manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 31 on. Kim Jae-hyun is the name of its main character. One of the many witnesses to a staple in the modern genre, Jae-hyun awakens an ability in the middle of an apocalypse of sorts. His gift? Labeled the Ultimate Shut-In. Unable to leave his house, Jae-hyun worries about his family 3 days into the supposed end of the world as they know it. Over time, he discovers the usefulness of his class or skill, allowing society to thrive in a sort of utopia in his particular set of buildings. Will he be able to find his family? What challenges will he face when utilizing his ability to the fullest? It's like playing a State of Decay for fans of that particular game. The potential is 9 out of 10. Modern apocalypse manhwa isn't the most unique premise for a manhwa, but the main character only having access to his land is a new version for me at least. Jaehyun is powerful, but clearly also has limitations. He has to get creative to get the most out of his ability. He will also have to trust people but be wary of them at the same time to truly be able to survive and thrive in this new age. The art is 8 out of 10. With everything going on around him, this manhwa showcases Jaehyun's various states of mind quite well, from his reasoning and rationality, selflessness and even ego. It's able to showcase this so much so that just when I ask myself of how would I approach this situation, Jaehyun would at least contemplate it the same. It borders on being above all or being a human still. So if you're a fan of following newer stories and enjoy modern manhwas that have the world face the end of times, then Ultimate Shut-In would be an interesting one for you to pick up. Our other shorter story for you this week is The Villainess is Busy Baking, a reincarnation manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 25 on. The focus of this story is on Rachel Lesseltine, a destined villainess from a novel, the typical stuff we see from this particular genre. Our Rachel, though, is knowledgeable of this and is also a giant fan of baking, specifically bread, and other desserts and pastries. So, Rachel now will try to avoid the bad ending originally fated to her and attach herself to the character that is the most a fan of sweets as possible, Duke Hessen. Will Rachel be able to survive this new yet familiar world to her? At least she's part of a wealthy family, so she can utilize that part of her background. The potential is 7 out of 10. Slice of life romance would be the primary way to describe this manhwa. While it hasn't yet even delved into the romance portion of its repertoire, you can clearly see where it intends to go once it has the opportunity to do so. At least for its strong point, the focus on business expansion and baking the delectable pastries and sweets are very much endearing to see. The art is also 7 out of 10. As of right now, all of its art elements are sufficient in telling its story, portraying its characters and giving a good show to the various foods that it's able to display. While it has no bad points, it also doesn't have any particular strong points either. So if you're a fan of following newer stories and wanted something similar to the vibes that the Villainess' stationery shop from my previous videos gives, but more focused on treats rather than running a stationery store, then The Villainess is Busy Baking would be a good one to keep an eye on. Another week, another highlight. For those unaware, this is the section of the video I update impressions for manhwa that I've previously covered. Today's highlight is the Overpowered Newbie, which I've now read up to chapter 131 on. Info card and description will have links to my original opinion. Kim Jae-ju, or Kim Jae-ju 2, as he has denoted himself for his streaming, has been continuing his struggle of climbing the tower in what is now a typical modern fantasy setting for the modern genre. Given the info that he has somehow come across of himself climbing said tower, he has been able to achieve things that no other awakener has been able to. From befriending poi pois, utilizing a set of items that completely causes others to vomit and unequip them immediately, and also inviting the wrath of some of the more influential beings of the tower, it's never a boring day for Jeju as he has been towing the line of no return constantly. To be honest, both Jeju and the readers, I think, have truly forgotten about the original goal of coming to the tower in the first place, and instead have really engrossed themselves to being awakeners and climbers instead. My previous scores for this manhwa were 8 out of 10 for characters and 7 out of 10 for art and story. The characters go up 1 point from 8 out of 10 to 9 out of 10, as we get to see a range of important characters throughout the plot. The administrators, the residents of the tower that seem to be more than just generic NPCs from a game, they clearly have their own motivations and even to some degree are aware of their own NPC-ness as they interact with Jeju. There is clearly more to them. The art also goes up, but instead by 2 points from 7 out of 10 to 9 out of 10 as the Overpowered Newbie's art style is able to deliver this creepy, slithery, and icky feeling through its pages very effectively. From the Lotonto, hopefully saying that right, to the various actions that the administrator is doing to make Jeju's life ever so more difficult, it's very off-putting at times. It has other moments of normalcy though to break the pacing up though, which is very good. The The story also goes up 2 points from 7 out of 10 to 9 out of 10, as it's clearly shown that Jeju is special one way or another. Of course, he's the main character of this manhwa, but from a more objective perspective, the residents of the tower, quests, and the administrators are clearly being affected by Jeju in ways that no other person in his world is able to. Namely, the administrator's interest and floors changing once Jeju is done clearing them. The Overpowered Newbie is one of the rare cases of manhwa for me that has actually gotten better as time has gone on. At first, I was merely just interested in the concept as it was one of the more early adopters of that modern fantasy tower cliche, but now it's found its own identity. It is a recommend for those that enjoy the mystery of the tower in a modern world. Would you agree or would you not? Comment down below your thoughts on the Overpowered Newbie. And that wraps up this week's episode. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and write down in the comment section down below what manhwa you've been reading and I might just take a look. Till next time though, have a good read.